Hi, so today's presentation is on The Sound of Trees, which is a poem by Robert Frost presented by me, Kyla Gushard. And we should already be a little bit familiar with Robert Frost because we've read three of his poems in class, which is The Dust of Snow, Acquainted with the Night, Stopping by the Woods on a Snowy Evening. And from all three of these poems, we can already recognize that Frost likes to put emphasis on nature, and a lot of his poems deal with nature-based perspectives, and he gives new light and new perspectives on nature that is just always around us. And so I chose another poem by him, which you may not be familiar with, which is called The Sound of Trees, and it goes like this. I wonder about the trees. Why do we wish to bear forever the noise of these? More than another noise, so close to our dwelling place. We suffer them by the day, till we lose all measure of pace, and fixity in our joys, and acquire a listening air. They are that talks a going, but never gets away, and that talks no less for knowing, as it grows wiser and older, that now means to stay. My feet tug at the floor, and my head sways to my shoulder. Sometimes when I watch the trees sway, from the window or the door, I shall set forth for somewhere. I shall make the reckless choice. Some day, when they are in voice, and tossing as to scare the white clouds over them on, I shall have less to say, but I shall be gone. And so this was a really powerful poem. This was why I picked it. It by itself is a wonderful poem, but other than that, I would argue that this poem and Robert Frost in general creates new perspectives, and a lot of these perspectives I have found also in isolation with our quarantined corona situation. And one of the perspectives I have gained from Frost and isolation is being aware of my surroundings. So like Frost, he is very observant and aware of the nature around him. And it's what makes him a really great poet, I believe, is because he can find the words in description to describe the world around him. And in isolation, I too have found the skill, or at least the awareness of the nature around me. And I can really relate to this poem because the trees have been a great friend during isolation when maybe some people are alone right now, but the trees are always there. And so that's another thing about this poem, is that trees are consistent, and I have taken consistency for granted recently until now, where I really respect consistency in my life. And so much like the trees, forever the noise of these, they're always in the background. If you can listen right now, maybe you can even hear the trees that surround you. And so when life turns upside down, we have the consistency of the trees, and they're constantly talking. And that's just a great perspective to think like there's always something consistent in your life if that's what you rely on. And so the next thing I realized from Frost's poem on The Sound of Trees is how he really interpreted the trees talking as them wanting to leave or longing for adventure. And so he mentions the trees as they are that talks of going but never gets away. And at the end, he also mentions that he gets to get away. And right now, we're feeling more like the trees in that we're stuck inside, not being able to make flights perhaps. And that's something that can really bring sympathy with you with the trees. We can both long for adventure, and we're stuck currently, but we can also recognize that soon we will be gone, but the trees will stay. And I think that's a really powerful message. And so in conclusion, I would say the isolation that we've found ourselves in has given me a new respect for trees and the perspectives, and like the perspective of Frost. I feel more closely related to Frost, and I really enjoy his poems even more so now.